Hey everybody, it's the Gay Sports Fanatic here. Thank you for tuning in. Today's edition, we're going to look at the NFL Week 7. So first, we're going to look at Doomsday in Dallas. Then after that, we're going to look at the strongest division in the NFL. That's the NFC North. Got a huge showdown in the NFC North this week between the Vikings and the Lions, and I'll be making that'll be the first prediction that I make, and I'll follow that up with 6 other fearless predictions for Week 7 against the spread. So let's jump into Week 7 here. First, I want to say that Week 6 last week, I went 4 wins, 3 losses against the spread. So let's go to Dallas. It's their bye week. It can't come fast enough. I actually think it's their goodbye week. This team, that performance last Sunday was absolutely, if you're a Dallas fan, absolutely embarrassing, pathetic. You add the adjectives, they're all bad. That was the worst performance by Dallas, I believe, at home in at least 35 years. And there's 2 people to blame for, but one person in particular. And I'm not blaming the players. I'm going right back to the owner and general manager, Jerry Jones. He does nothing but make bad decisions. He's a terrible strategist. He has a terrible football mind. He's been making mistake after mistake after mistake for 30 years. Yet, of course, he can't be fired. He owns the team. His mistake is just his lack of intuition and knowledge of the game is obvious. But free agency, he sat that out this year because this team was just fine the way it was. Just fine. Now, let's bring in Ezekiel Elliott for the running game. Oh, boy. So, that's his price. No free agency involvement at all. You guys know the story about that. The biggest story is Derrick Henry. Dallas has, and thinking of Derrick Henry, Dallas has none rushing attack. None. No running offense at all. They also can't stop the run on defense. So you've got a combination. They can't run the ball. They can't stop people from running the ball. I mean, what's that add up to? Losses. That's what it adds up to. Back to Derrick Henry real quick. He lives in Dallas. He was open in free agency. He openly went on publicly and said he wanted to play for the Cowboys. He did not even receive a phone call. Now, Jerry says they couldn't afford him. How do you know? You never even called him. So, it's mistake after mistake after mistake. And again, Dallas is a top-heavy team, and the fact that the stars are paid a fortune, but yet the other players beneath them, just for whatever reason, they're just not bringing in through free agency, through development. They're not bringing these players that are not the superstars up to a level they need to be. You get in October, you get in November in the NFL, and that's how you got to win. So you can't just win with a few superstars. So that I put right at both Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy, the coaches' feet, is that they're not developing these players. So, it all leads up to the good news for the Dallas Cowboy Nation, which is you don't have to wait till January to be disappointed in this team anymore. Guess what? You get to be disappointed in October. So, rejoice. This is what I think the future is for the Cowboys. Absolute best case, I think there's a 10% chance this happens. They go 10 wins, 6 losses. Probable 8-8. I'm going to give a 20% chance to them finishing 6-10. So that's all I have to say about the Cowboys. Enjoy your bye week. But for me, I think it's a good bye week for you. Next, let's go to the best division in football, the NFC North. All 4 teams in the NFC North are playoff contenders at this point. It's just stacked. I took the Lions before the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with that, but it's very, very dicey. This division could go to any of these teams right now. Let's start first with the team that is one of 2 teams that's undefeated, sitting atop the NFC North, sitting atop the NFL with the Chiefs, is the Minnesota Vikings. They've done it with defense. Who would have thought this team would have beaten the 49ers and beat the Packers on the road? They've done it with takeaways, defense, and an offense that does not make a lot of mistakes. So that's the way you win football games. Don't make mistakes on offense and make your other team get some unforced errors or forced errors by your opposition. That's how they've done it. Next, we have Detroit. Of course, looked great last week. They're on a roll right now. There's some bad news, though. Aiden Hutchinson in that Dallas debacle, or debacle for Dallas, he went out and he's out for the season. That's a big loss for this Detroit team. Now, they have a lot of talent, best coached team in the NFL. This is going to be a loss I think it's going to be felt throughout the year. So I'm still sticking with the Lions to win the division, but after this loss of Aiden, my confidence level on that has went way down. Next, Green Bay. Let's just talk about Jordan Love and how he on fire this guy is. He will dictate where Green Bay goes. So far, I mean, here in the last few weeks, it's been up, up, up. I think he's got a shot to contend for the MVP of the league. That's how good he's playing. If he keeps this up, look out for Green Bay. Similar in Chicago, it's basically the same story as in Green Bay. Chicago has needed for 100 years a really franchise type quarterback. Never had one. This team has everything they needed coming into the season. They needed a quarterback. They've got one. I see every week Caleb Williams, first year, I see rookie, I see him every game getting better. If Caleb Williams keeps this up, the Bears will go where Caleb goes. So this division, everybody's good. Anybody can take it, I have to say. So, but we've got a major showdown out of this division this week in week 7. There's going to be a lot of showdowns coming out of this division, but let's look at the big one this week, and that is the undefeated Vikings at home against the Detroit Lions. I'm going to sum this game up very simply. Lions, Aiden is gone. Vikings, TJ Hawkinson is back. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because in my opinion, that tips the scales to the Vikings. I've been riding this Viking gravy train for the 5 weeks they've played. I'm going to stay on it till I run into a brick wall, particularly with the loss of Aiden and the return of TJ. So the Vikings are 1.5-point favorite in this game. I like the Vikings to throw away the 1.5 to Detroit. I like the Vikings obviously to win the game. I like for them to also cover the spread. Next up, let's look at the other undefeated team in the league, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're actually a 1.5-point underdog at San Francisco at the 49ers. Now, why are they an underdog? Well, because the 49ers in the last few weeks have just played simply fantastic. And again, let's look at the quarterback, Brock Purdy. He is now averaging 8.8 yards per passing attempt. This team has been riddled with injuries, particularly early in the season, but they're recovering, and Brock Purdy is on a tear. The Chiefs, of course, can't take it. It's the Chiefs. They're 5-0. They just keep winning. I say it stops here. I'm taking the 49ers to win the game. I'm taking them to cover the 1.5 points. And you can deduce after these two picks that I'm leaving the Minnesota Vikings as the only undefeated team in the NFL. Now, who would have believed after 7 weeks that the Vikes would be the only undefeated team left in the NFL? I mean, we'll see if it happens, but that's my call, and I'm going with it. Next, let's look at the Texans. They are at the Packers. I had the Texans at first were a 2.5-point underdog going into this game, and I was going to take the Packers. Then the spread just moved to 3, and that changed it for me. I like the Texans +3 going into Lambeau Field. They may not win the game, but I can't believe this won't be really close. So I'm taking the Texans, and I'm grabbing that 3 points. Next up, we have the red-hot Ravens at the really good Tampa Bay. This is a great matchup here as well. Ravens have just been I've been riding their train, too, for the last 4 weeks. The Ravens is just, after 0-2 start, have just turned it around. They're firing on all cylinders. So the Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite at Tennessee. That's a lot of points. Tennessee is better than this, you would think. But as I said with the Vikings, I'm going to ride that Ravens train all the way into a wall. So I'm taking the Ravens, and I'm throwing away the 3.5 points. Next, we have the Bills, who are giving away a lot of points here to the Titans. They're at home. The Bills are. They're giving away 8.5. I think the Bills would like a game they could just win easily. I think they would like that for a week. I think they're going to get it this week. I think the Bills will easily win this game. So I'm taking the Bills. I'm throwing away the 8.5. Uh, so I think the Bills will win by 14, maybe 3 touchdowns. Next is my upset special of the week, you guys. It's the New England Patriots at the Jacksonville Jaguars, a game probably nobody's going to watch, but I see it as an upset special. The Patriots are getting 5.5 points. They're 5.5 point underdog. I'm taking the Patriots and that 5.5. That is my upset special highlight pick of the week. Next, we've got the Eagles who are playing the Giants. The Eagles are a 3 point favorite in this game. Before the season started and Saquon Barkley joined the Giants, I said, really watch the Eagles. I was like, this is a team that's going to catch fire this year. Well, they've been kind of, lukewarm so far. There's still a lot of room to go, but this is a must win for the Eagles. The Eagles have got to win this game, and I think they know it. So I'm taking the Eagles to win, and I'm going to throw away the 3 points as well. This game's too important for the Eagles for them not to come in with a solid performance. So take the Eagles, throw away the 3. So you guys, those are the picks for the week, and I shall see you next week. Be sure to enjoy all your football on Sunday. Be sure to comment. I'm going to mention that first because I love it when people comment on these games or my picks in particular. I'd love to hear from some of you Dallas fans. So good, bad, please go ahead and comment. I certainly read them. Also, if you like my videos, please hit like. And then you hear this every week. If you want to see my content automatically fed to you, I post twice a week generally. You will just subscribe and you'll receive an automatic post within your feed. So you guys, thank you. Enjoy Sunday, and we'll talk to you next week.